The racing game community is not in the best state right now. There seems to be this wave of hatred and toxicity that has just enveloped the racing game community by the type of people who think that screaming the loudest means I am the one who's right. I don't know where this group of people came from, and I have noticed that there has been some discourse between racing game content creators and pretty much any gaming content creator who has made a video about racing games, and I say this with myself included. And today I will be showing exactly what the toxicity that everyone is talking about. Many content creators have expressed their dislike surrounding the toxicity of the racing game community, and this video was inspired by DVD Legend. I will be sharing with you some of the comments I have on some of my videos that I've made about racing games, and I will be explaining what is wrong with the comments and why exactly they are toxic. There are many racing games that I've made videos about, and I will be referring to a few of the games like Need for Speed, Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, and Dirt Rally 2.0. Need for Speed. I have made my fair share of Need for Speed videos, and they have not been without backlash, and usually for the wrong reason. But let me get into the comments that I want to talk about. The first comment I chose is from my Why Need for Speed Sucks Now video, and it reads as follows. To call Need for Speed fans delusional after watching this video from beginning to end is ironic. The only argument worth agreeing here is the lack of competition in the subgenre of arcade street racing games, which resulted in the complacency. Outside of that, it's all disingenuous overreaction and projection. For example, the last NFS title to incorporate aspects of social media platforms was the reboot back in 2015. The car list as of the recent title provides a good balance between various vehicle types. To have the goal to claim that the franchise should go back to its roots only to ignore the EA Canada era is hilarious. To being downright dismissive of the physics. There is no structure and cohesion to this rant. You add nothing outside of affirming the beliefs of closed-off, like-minded individuals. The funny thing about this comment is how it takes no accountability for how bad the modern NFS games are. The same disingenuous overreaction and projection that the comment speaks about really reflects how the modern Need for Speed games have been selling less and less since NFS Payback. So the comment is really flawed because clearly a good amount of people didn't like Heat and Unbound enough to buy them, because the funny part is that the best selling recent NFS game is NFS Payback. I would also like to mention that the comment states that the last NFS title to incorporate aspects of social media platforms was the reboot back in 2015, which is a complete and utter lie, because in NFS Payback, when you play as Mac, you literally drift for a content creator and streamer, and here is the evidence.
Oh, 5-star, thumb him up, Black Mirror style.
Focus, Mac. Gotta get through this.
Yo, it's like watching a movie this episode. It's great. I don't even have to play.
Hey! Hush, puppy. Big fan of your channel.
It's Tiger.
Tiger selfie.
No,
Here we go.
No, man.
Roar!
Selfie.
Come on, big roar. Roar!
Raw.
Epic.
And even more evidence is the fact that Jake Paul is literally in the game. So what is this person on about social media aspects? And I don't even need to mention Heat and Unbound, because they are both heavily driven by social media, so don't even get me started. This is the type of stuff that I've been talking about. I get so many comments like this that are often just complete nonsense, and people like to use the term I used of back to its roots for NFS against me, and I actually responded to a comment that tried the same thing, and I quite simply stated that NFS was made before I was born, and when the first NFS games were made, it was way before I was born, so they're not really my roots, but I will admit that maybe I should have phrased what I wanted to say better, and I take the accountability of that on my part. I also want to make a quick comment about this comment. The person said I was stuck in the past, But it looks like most people left their wallets in the past too, because the sales of the latest NFS games don't support them really being as good as people say they are. And I will admit that I responded to this comment in a way that I'm not really happy with now. It looks like I am agreeing with them, saying that the modern NFS games are better than the old NFS games. And that is just not true, and everyone knows it. But I wanted to take accountability and also show that I was trying to take their opinion into consideration and see the reason behind it. But yeah, I have grown a lot since then, and these are the type of comments I ignore now. Another comment I just want to quickly touch upon is a comment on my video about EA running out of ideas. And this is mainly related to NFS Unbound. The comment states, "This is a joke, right?" The truth is, I was not joking. NFS Unbound is such a shift in the wrong direction that it essentially killed the franchise. And by the way, I recently bought NFS Unbound on sale, and to be fair, it feels almost exactly the same as Heat. I know I gave Unbound a lot of flack, but it's not like the sales of Unbound don't back up my statement about the game being bad, because if it was a success, then we would have had a new NFS game by now, or at least we would have had some mentions that a new NFS game is in the works. But so far, nothing. All I did in my EA's running out of ideas video was state that the animated art style was not what the community wanted, and that it won't be well received. And lo and behold, I was right, because the game didn't do well. One last comment from my Need for Speed videos is this one, which is really silly, and here it is. "What you mean, my guy? Unbound is literally one of the best out of the last couple, and a mixture of 2015 and Heat. That's literally what we wanted and what we are getting." And this one is from the NFS community doesn't know what it wants video. They said Unbound was better than NFS 2015, Payback and Heat, which is a complete lie, and I would love to know who the group of people are who actually wanted this game, because as far as I can see, the group was very small to begin with, and the majority of the fan base agreed not to buy this game. The only reason I bought it is because I wanted to mod the game, like I modded NFS Heat. But that's besides the point. A lot of people defended the bad NFS games, and this is why the franchise is non-existent now. Test Drive Unlimited. This has to be the franchise that has been the most prolific out of any game I have ever made videos about. I think one of the reasons why is because I've been very critical of the franchise reboot, and also comparing TDU 1 and 2 to a time back when racing games were peak, and for some reason a lot of people have never really liked what I've had to say, or should I say at least the people who left negative comments on my videos. There has been a good amount of people who have liked what I had to say about TDU, stating that I really understand what the franchise stands for and what the game should be about, which has also garnered me a lot of praise that I'm very thankful for, and it has kind of given me a bit of a name. But let me get into the comments I want to speak about. I made a video about my predictions for Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, and the video is called Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown Might Fail. And I made this video because I was concerned about the game, because they said they were not doing the ports for PS4 and Xbox One anymore, and I said that it might not live up to our expectations and that it won't be as good as the old games. And I got a lot of toxic comments on that video. For example, here is one, and it reads as follows: "But why you gotta be so damn negative? Before the game even got revealed, all we seen was trailers, buddy. Like, who cares about the people that can't get their hands on the new system? Times changed. Sorry not sorry. Get a PC." As you can see, this is a very bad comment. This is so toxic. So what the person is saying is that they don't care about the people who can't afford the next gen consoles, and because they can't afford them, they should not get to enjoy the game, which is really unfair to the people who are promised a game on PS4 and Xbox One, only to have that promise broken. And the funny part is, I already have a PC. One of the worst comments is this one, and it reads as follows: "Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown might fail? Boy, don't you ever again in your life ever disrespect Test Drive Unlimited like that. Nobody cares that it won't release for old consoles, like nobody Get your money up and get a newer system/TV. Test Drive Unlimited might fail. Done lost your mind. Edit that title and watch your mouth. As you can see, some people really got touched by what I said, and I really wasn't all out negative. I warned them that removing the 8th gen ports for TDUSC would have a negative impact on how the game would be received. And because there was no 8th gen port, a good amount of sales have been lost. I still have no idea what warranted the reaction that people had for my video, but it seems that their outrage was greatly misplaced, and the rest of the comments on the video are either just telling me to not be broke and get a new console, or were trying to justify the removal of the 8th gen ports. At the end of the day, Test Drive Unlimited's Solar Crown has come and gone, and the reviews speak for themselves. I made a video about Dirt Rally 2.0, and I gave my honest thoughts about the game, and it seems that people really didn't like it. I got so many hate comments that didn't really seem to take my view into consideration, and to the comments, the sim racing and racing game community came armed with their Logitech G923s, their Thrustmaster T300 RSs, their Fanatics and their Moses. The comments got so bad to the point of where it's as if people were choosing to ignore me and just keep hating. At some point, I just stopped looking at the comments that were made about the video, and every time I think I can move past it, someone comments again. There are a lot of comments, so I will only focus on a few. The first comment I want to tackle is this one, and it reads as follows. The problem is that you are reviewing Dirt Rally like it's a dirt game, rather than a simulator or simcade. First off, I want to ask, what game am I supposed to review this as? Am I supposed to review it as a Call of Duty game? Or maybe I should review it as a Tekken game? Or maybe I should review it as a GTA game? This comment makes no sense, and people act like it has so much ground to stand on. The other funny part is that you can't even buy the first Dirt Rally game from 2016 because it has been taken off Steam, so there is nothing to compare it to. And I got quite a few comments like this defending the game, saying that it's a simulator and not an arcade racing game. Another person replied and said this: all the previous CMR games were sold as simulators though, with arcade elements. If this is the definition of a sim, then we've all been sold a lie since 1998. And what they said is true, because I remember with Gran Turismo and how some of the early games had rally stages in them. I remember playing GT4 and drifting like nobody's business on the rally stages, and yet Gran Turismo 4 is a racing sim. But then when I tried to do that on Dirt Rally 2.0, all of a sudden I'm a person who sucks at simulators or only wants arcade physics. Another comment I want to focus on is this one. I really think this is top tier bait, driving like it's Forza Horizon and complaining the game is bad. I played it for a bit and knew it wasn't a racing game for me. I like more arcade races, but even I understand it's simulation based. I would love to know when I was driving like it's Forza. I never understand why the racing community likes to compare arcade racing to Forza, when Forza literally started out as a racing simulator. Forza functions more as the Xbox version of Gran Turismo. So what is this thing of calling out Forza for being an arcade racer? Even with Forza Horizon, all they did was just take Forza to the streets, and then they go on to say, I understand it's simulation based. Bruh, what does that even mean? I feel like the people who clamor on about racing simulators don't actually know what a simulator is. A racing simulator is an attempt at simulating real life driving. Emphasis on the word attempt, which means that racing simulators are not the be all and end all. In the video, I tried to take some accountability that maybe I just wasn't that good at the game, and that maybe it's a skill issue. Looking back at it now, it felt right in the moment, but I hate when I say maybe it's a skill issue and then people just use that as ammunition against me. What I was saying when I say skill issue is that I am not perfect and I make mistakes. I will never be the best at every video game, and nor was it ever my goal to be the best at every video game. A lot of people commented on my gameplay footage and said that I was bad at the game, stating that I should learn how to drive. And the kicker is, that I edited all of my crashes into the video. I legit did that on purpose. And then people thought that's how I drove in the whole game. But then again, this is the racing game community we are talking about, who believe that they are right about everything. Another thing that really gets underneath my skin is people thinking that difficult means realistic. This is one of the most toxic parts of the racing game community. This is why people who spend a lot of money on their rigs are the people to always defend games like Dirt Rally 2.0 and Assetto Corsa. They believe that because they are good at playing a hard game, that they are superior to everyone else that can't afford the same rigs as them. This is why there is so much arrogance, but that is super toxic. To say that because you can't afford expensive things, that your opinion doesn't matter, which actually leads me to the next comment, and it reads as follows. Bro, this is a simulator. You are using a controller. You tried probably your G2729 and the gameplay in the video is a skill issue. Stop being binge stupid and try to drive properly. I'm a sim racer and the handling is 90% perfect. Only the power slide and the handbrake on a 6 and flats are not really right. Please inform me you before saying things. God bless the intelligent people. Please. As you can see, this is what I have to deal with. Just complete and utter blind hatred and toxicity. There is no sense to this comment. First, the person says I'm using a controller, which to be honest, I'm not sure what else am I supposed to use. Should I have used a mouse and keyboard instead? And then they say that I have a bad wheel, but I'm still trying to understand. If I cannot afford an expensive wheel, then what else am I supposed to do? Should I sell a kidney or something? Yeah, this is just a small window as to what I have been through. But many other content creators have gone through the same thing and have also expressed their distaste for the state of the racing game community. I have also heard many stories about people getting the wrath of the racing game community. So there really is not much of a community anymore. It's basically just us and them. But anyway, I feel that I have said enough, and with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.